single, Dirty Laundry. I'm so glad that she was able to open up and really just, she almost gave a piece of herself. You know what I'm saying? That is big of her. She was so honest, and it was a vulnerable moment for her. And a lot of times we need that, especially as artists and creative people. We have so much stuff locked in that we don't get to express it, and she did that with this record.
I want you to let the world know. There's been on the blogs, at one point you were engaged to Kelly Rowland, correct? Of Destiny's Child?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, and
I pretty much said what I had to say, and people were like, well, if you really didn't do that, you shouldn't have to say anything. Well, to me personally, yes, I do, because one,
people wanted those stories for years. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think that people wanted those stories for years, and that's just so sad on them because it's not like that.
Not like that. Kelly Rowland's past is creeping back into the spotlight, and Roy Williams just dropped a bomb so messy it's got the entire internet buzzing. For years, fans swore up and down that Kelly's raw and heartbreaking track Dirty Laundry was about her ex, Roy. The story seemed set in stone. He was painted as the man behind all that pain. But now Roy himself has stepped up to set the record straight, and what he said turned everything upside down. He claims he was never the one who laid hands on Kelly. And if that's true, then who exactly was she singing about? Here's where it gets even crazier. Roy isn't just denying the accusations. He's hinting that Kelly had more than one ex in the picture during that time. And one of those names being whispered in the background? Jay-Z. That's right, Jay-Z. Suddenly, the story everyone thought they knew is starting to look completely different. While people were quick to pin Kelly's mystery ex on Roy, it turns out the truth might have been hiding in plain sight all along. The streets have been buzzing for years, suggesting that the man Kelly poured her soul out about in Dirty Laundry could have actually been Jay-Z. And let ES not act like this rumor is brand new. Whispers about Kelly and Jay possibly having a thing before Beyoncé have been floating around forever. This twist right here could shake up the entire Destiny's Child timeline. Jay-Z didn't just slide into the picture. He came in crowned as the golden choice for Destiny's Child's empire. But let's be real, the timing has always been messy.
Just like me, they long to be close to you. I'm just a chick, Samuel. Thank you. Lawson, you guys have to know that this guy. Thank you very much.
Kelly and Beyoncé were both young, barely out of their teens. Jay-Z, on the other hand, was older, already a music heavyweight with power, status, and connections. That kind of setup practically had history written all over it. A mentor on one side and vulnerable rising stars on the other. Back in the early 2000s, those kinds of relationships blurred lines all the time. Now let's bring Dirty Laundry back into the spotlight. Kelly didn't just pour her heart out about feeling overshadowed by Beyoncé. That song bled with something much darker. She talked about being mistreated, torn apart, and emotionally wrecked. And today, fans are side-eyeing those lyrics, asking, was Jay-Z the man hiding between those lines? Buckle up, because this is where the story shifts from simple music gossip to full-blown Lifetime drama.
Talking about new music, all the talk this week has been about Beyoncé's new album. Have you heard it yet? Have you had an opportunity to give some thoughts on the whole thing?
I sure have. It's great. It's absolutely great.
Really different though, right?
Yes, really different.
But
getting back to what I'm here to talk about,
Yeah.
Claritin, I'm very excited to be teaming up with Claritin.
Kelly Rowland on being in Beyoncé's shadow. For a whole decade, I would torture myself in my head. Rowland has come into her own since the final days of Destiny's Child. But now she's speaking on how she lived in her group mate and best friend Beyoncé's shadow for 10 years during their days in a Grammy award-winning group. In a recent episode of The Voice Australia, Kelly Rowland relates to her team Kelly consistent Chris Sebastian on what it feels like to stand in the professional shadow of someone you love. 5. Kelly Rowland says she's torturing herself trying to forge an identity outside of Queen Bey. She told Chris Sebastian, "I know this feeling. Can you imagine what it's like being in a group with Beyoncé? I will be lying if I said no. It's never bothered me. That's bull. It was a whole decade, if I'm being completely honest, A decade where it was like the elephant in the room. It was the thing that would constantly be on my shoulder.
For years, people have whispered about Kelly's son, Titan, and the uncanny resemblance he supposedly shares with Jay-Z. The chatter goes way beyond casual talk. Fans have dissected photos, zoomed in on Titan's features, and compared him side by side with Jay-Z and Blue Ivy. The nose, the bone structure, even the smile. People online swear the likeness is undeniable. One person even wrote, "Why does Titan look like Jay-Z and Blue Ivy had a twin?" That single comment went viral and reignited the speculation all over again. Then came that unforgettable moment at the Harder They Fall premiere. The cameras didn't miss a thing. Jay-Z's whole demeanor shifted the second he locked eyes with Kelly. He lit up like he'd just seen someone from his past, someone who still meant something. His body language didn't read supportive family friend. It read, "I remember us." It was giving old flame energy. Some fans even said it looked like straight-up baby mama vibes. And let's be real, the internet never misses a beat when it comes to reading vibes. That's when the quiet whispers turned into loud conversations. Could Jay-Z have had a secret history with Kelly before Beyoncé came into the picture? Could Dirty Laundry have been her coded confession? A love story that was messy, painful, and hidden? And here's the biggest bomb of them all. Could Titan's father actually be Jay-Z? When you start connecting the dots, the puzzle pieces fall into place in ways that make people wonder if the world's biggest power couple has been carrying around a secret that could blow everything wide open. If Jay-Z really was Kelly's ex before Beyoncé came into the picture, you already know that had to create some explosive tension behind the scenes, even if nobody dared to say it out loud. Over the years, you could feel the energy shift.
Got pregnant. And then they didn't know each other like that, but he did come back in the community, from what she told me, looking for her for the second time, the date, whatever, because that was their area where they scouted these men doing what they do. And she said that her mom told her, "You disappear again, I'm gonna put you away." That's what she told me. So she decided not to go off with him, so she didn't go.
So he wanted her to leave with him.
Yeah, he was. I think he was looking for a consistent thing. So at the end of the day, it was a one-night stand, or how, unfortunately, when Ramir was pregnant, and at the time she didn't know she was pregnant. And then he came back, and it must have came back within a reasonable amount of time, week, 2 weeks, whatever it was. And her mother told her not to disappear again, because she had disappeared the last time because they were off in New York.
Okay.
This is what she told me. And at the end of the day, she didn't go, but I understand it to be true that Wanda told me that when he found out that she was with child, he came looking for her. But by then, Wanda's mother had moved. So this is a fact, everybody.
Maybe Jay-Z sees it, representative there sees it. Who would you want him to know? What words would you want Jay-Z to hear from you?
I just want to say, man, this is never, your major influence, and I believe you should do the right thing. This was never any negativity towards you or nothing like that. I always just wanted to know the truth, and I look at you as a role model, and it's not saying this changed anything, but you gotta do better, man. It's a lot going on in the world, and only take celebrities, not even just you, only take celebrities or anybody in the world 5 minutes to tell the truth or see if it's the truth or not, and you can go from there. I'm not, I don't want to put no pauses on his life. I don't want that man to receive any backlash from me for anything I'm saying. This is honestly coming from my heart. I don't know what else to say. I respect him to death, respect everything he do, and I'm gonna continue to respect him. But I gotta do what I believe in too, and this is what I truly believe.
Appreciate you.
Kelly once admitted that she always felt like she was living in Beyoncé's shadow. But maybe that confession went much deeper than just music and fame. Think about it. Imagine losing not only your spot in the spotlight, but also your man to your own best friend. That's not just painful, that's betrayal on an entirely different level. And what if the betrayal wasn't even Beyoncé's doing, but Jay-Z's game all along? If the whispers are true, that he mistreated Kelly and then turned right around and got with Beyoncé, that's not just messy. That's cold-blooded. It makes you see Kelly's quiet exit from the limelight in a whole new way. The silence, the distance, the way Beyoncé's circle got tighter while Kelly slowly faded into the background. Maybe it wasn't random at all. Maybe it was survival. And here's the kicker. This wouldn't even be the first time Jay-Z's name got caught up in rumors about questionable behavior with women much younger than him. And trust me, we're not done yet. Because the next name that keeps coming up is Rye Satterthwaite.
Was I shocked when Jay said the line in Picasso Baby? Yes.
I never stuck my cock in the box, but damn if I ain't open Pandora's box.
Because we've talked about that. We have a history that supersedes music, and we know how this business works. We sit back and we laugh at those rumors. We laugh at that. I think he began to feel the pressure because people were saying my age, the age thing. She was 15, 14. She was 15, 14. And after a while, that gets to a person. The Jay I know, the Sean I know, never comes out of character.
Oh, I've known you for a long time. But I want you to let the world know. There's been on the blogs, at one point you were engaged to Kelly Rowland, correct? Of Destiny's Child?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, and there she has a new song coming out, and you had to go out and basically clarify and clear your name of whatever she was saying in the lyrics. Is there anything you can say about that and to our audience?
No, there really isn't much for me to speak on. You know, I pretty much said what I had to say, and people were like, well, if you really didn't do that, you shouldn't have to say anything. Well, to me personally, yes, I do, because one, I'm a Christian,
right? And
first off, I don't condone. I had a foundation for 2004 all the way to 2010, maybe, so about 6 years, whatever.
And his story flips this entire conversation into even darker territory. Rye Satterthwaite has been fighting this battle for over a decade, begging Jay-Z to take one simple paternity test. His mother claims she got pregnant by Jay when she was just 16 years old. And ever since, Jay has been dodging that test like the feds were knocking at his door. Reimer's case has been dragged through courtroom after courtroom, and the stories are wild. Jay-Z's legal team has been accused of pulling Olympic-level stunts, filing endless motions, blocking subpoenas, and even allegedly teaming up with judges to bury the case. If you believe the claims, it doesn't look like a defense. It looks like a full-on cover-up. And the big question is why? Why would a billionaire mogul spend that much energy avoiding a single swab of DNA? According to Reimer's side, the answer is simple. Because the truth would be catastrophic. If that test came back positive, it wouldn't just prove paternity. It would confirm that Jay-Z was involved with a minor. And that kind of revelation could set his entire empire on fire. And while we're here, let's talk about patterns. If Jay really was involved with a 16-year-old back then, what does that say about the other young women who were constantly in his circle? Let's do some quick math. Beyoncé was born in 1981. Rumors say she and Jay started seeing each other around 1998 or 1999, which would have made her 17, not 18, like the polished media story claimed. Then there's Foxy Brown. She stayed mostly silent over the years, but whispers about her past with Jay-Z have never died down. Word on the street has always been that Jay was the one who took her V-card when she was still in her mid-teens. Some even say as young as 15. Foxy was only a year older than Beyoncé, which makes the timing even more questionable. So if Jay-Z was hanging around Destiny's Child during their rise, constantly close to the girls, can we really rule out the possibility that Kelly might have been caught up in that same web too? The math is mathing, and the picture it's painting is ugly.
I'm sorry, you talked about in the book where they approached you, well, you got a letter that's saying that you will no longer be managing them and they have their own managers.
Correct.
And that kind of created a big problem.
Well, that started really from a poor decision that I made in putting on that tour we just talked about with John B, on putting both Destiny's Child and Jagged Edge on the same tour bus. Now remember, the girls are minors. They're minors. They're 16 years old. The guys are 21, 22 years old. I have a fiduciary duty with minors. by the law. There's a certain way I have to manage that.
And the American Music Award goes to Chris Brown. Now, Chris Brown is not here tonight, so I'm accepting this award on his behalf. Excuse me, chill out. But I want to tell Chris, thank you so much for making great R&B music. And I want to tell him, thank you for being an incredible performer. I'll take this award, bring it to you. I love you. Congratulations.
But I love the fact that at the AMAs, it's very spontaneous.
Yeah.
You never know what to expect. And, that's what I'm most excited about tonight. I'm excited about seeing all these artists and how they plan on expressing themselves. And, it's really exciting.
I've taken my position to say, I'm not stopping.
Right.
So it'll happen.
Right.
It'll happen. It'll happen.
Do you remember the last award show you performed at?
My last award show might have been BET. My last award show might have been BET Awards. Yeah.
Kelly Rowland supported you.
Yeah.
Once Roy Williams finally broke his silence and shut down the rumors about being Kelly's abusive ex, it was like the floodgates burst open. Roy made it clear he was done letting people drag his name through the mud. And honestly, who can blame him? The man stayed quiet for years while the internet painted him as the villain in Kelly's story. But now that Roy's denied it, people started doing what they do best, connecting the dots. And every trail keeps leading right back to Jay-Z. It's not hard to see why either. Kelly had deep history with the Carters. She lived with them, traveled with them, and was practically family, always part of their inner circle. With that much closeness, the idea that lines could have been crossed doesn't sound far-fetched at all. And speaking of tours, let's rewind to a jaw-dropping revelation from none other than Beyoncé's own father, Matthew Knowles. He wasn't just her dad. He was Destiny's Child's manager, the man who saw everything behind the curtain. And what he revealed still has people shook to this day. According to Matthew, back in the early 2000s, something deeply inappropriate happened while the girls were on tour. He claimed that Beyoncé and Kelly Rowland, who were just 16 years old at the time, were sexually harassed by two members of the R&B group Jagged Edge. Let that sink in. Beyoncé and Kelly were still teenagers, while the men from Jagged Edge were already in their early 20s, around 21 and 22 years old. The story shocked fans when it came out and added a whole new layer to the conversation about how vulnerable Kelly and Beyoncé really were during those early Destiny's Child years. If this kind of behavior was happening on tour, who's to say what else might have been going on behind the scenes? That's a massive age and power gap. And according to Matthew Knowles, the situation turned disturbing fast. He revealed that one night he got a panicked call from the girls. Beyoncé and Kelly told him they were being harassed, made uncomfortable, and didn't know how to handle it. They were scared, confused, just teenagers trying to navigate a world way bigger than them. As both their manager and guardian, Matthew said he knew he had to act immediately. He claimed he stormed in and had the men from Jagged Edge kicked off the tour bus in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. It caused chaos behind the scenes, but he said protecting the girls came first. No question about it. But here's the messy part. Nobody has ever publicly confirmed or denied that story. Not Beyoncé, not Kelly, not the men from Jagged Edge. Total silence. And let's be real, that silence only stirs the pot even more. Why no statement? Why no follow-up? The unanswered questions have kept the speculation alive for decades, and fans still debate whether something much deeper was being hidden. And speaking of speculation, let's switch gears to another Destiny's Child controversy. This one centered on Kelly herself. Flashback to 2001. An interview clip went viral because fans swore Kelly looked out of it, like she was under the influence. The rumor spread like wildfire, with people claiming she seemed high on camera. But Beyoncé later shut that down, explaining the real reason. She said they had been grinding through 16 hours of back-to-back interviews, no food, barely any sleep, just non-stop work. By the time the cameras rolled, they were exhausted, drained, and running on fumes. So according to her, Kelly wasn't on anything. She was just burned out. Still, that didn't stop fans from side-eyeing Kelly years later, especially after she publicly commented, "I love you," on one of Chris Brown's posts. That one little phrase sparked another wave of chatter, because whenever Kelly does anything slightly outside the norm, people are quick to dig for hidden meaning. Kelly wasn't ready for the storm that came her way. She thought she was just showing love and keeping it cute when she dropped that simple "I love you" on Chris Brown's post. But social media wasn't having it. They dragged her like a rag doll. Why? Because the timing couldn't have been worse. Chris had just released his track Need a Stack, where he rapped about only liking black women with nice hair. Yeah, that whole good hair rhetoric, the kind of language that instantly sets off alarms. Fans immediately accused him of pushing colorism and texturism, and Kelly got swept right into the mess, branded as a pick-me just for being supportive at the wrong moment. She later explained she had no clue about the lyrics when she commented. At the time, she was in Australia and was simply congratulating him for breaking a record. But when she woke up, her mentions were flooded with hate. People dragged her left and right, calling her out for supporting Chris. Some even reminded everyone about past accusations that he banned darker-skinned women from his VIP sections and clubs. The optics were brutal, and Kelly found herself caught in the middle of a storm she never asked for. Realizing how bad it looked, Kelly stepped up and clarified her stance. She made it clear she does not support those lyrics or any form of colorist messaging. She even spoke candidly about how the phrase "good hair" carries a long, painful history for black women, a history that cuts deep and can't just be brushed off. But let's not ignore what she's never said. To this day, Kelly has never publicly revealed who her abusive ex actually was. Yet, in 2023, she dropped a hint that had everybody's eyebrows raised. She admitted the man was powerful and still active in the industry. Baby, that narrows the list down real quick, and you already know who fans think sits at the top of it. Roy Williams has finally cleared his name, and in doing so, he may have accidentally cracked open the very secret Kelly Rowland has been carrying for years. Because if her ex wasn't Roy, and it wasn't just some random guy, then all the signs point straight at Jay-Z. Think about it. The puzzle pieces are all there: the timing, the rumored fallout with Beyonce, the abusive ex Kelly cried about in Dirty Laundry, the child people swear looks just like Jay. And let's not forget Jay-Z's long history of whispers about getting involved with younger women. Add the Reimer-Satterthwaite case on top, a case Jay has been running from for over a decade. And suddenly, ignoring these connections feels impossible. Is everything confirmed? No. But let's be real. Where there's this much smoke, there's usually a fire. And this one has been quietly burning for decades. So now the question is yours. Do you believe Jay-Z was actually Kelly's mystery ex? Could he even be the father of her child? Or is this just the internet connecting dots that aren't really there? Because either way, this story is a lot to take in. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear every theory. And while you're at it, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video. Because trust me, the next one waiting on your screen is another bombshell you do not want to miss. See you in the next one.